Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. So on today's video, I will take you through some of the best finance stocks in India. Personally, I invest 60% of my Indian equities money in finance stocks. So I am a big believer in India's growth story, and more specifically, I am very bullish about the India's finance stock story. Why is that the case? I will explain it along the video. But before delving deeper into specific stocks, there are two important data points that I would like to share. The first data point is regarding the bull market scenario in the market right now. So yesterday, the US Fed met and they decided कि यार interest rate बढ़ा देते हैं. We will increase the interest rate, and they increase the interest rate. Now, typically when interest rates go up, there is usually a lot of panic in the stock market because it withdraws credit flow from the economy. So theoretically, the market should have fallen. But I'm making this video during the market hours and the Indian stock market fell by like only 0.2%. So 2-3% की correction can anyways anytime happen, that no one can stop. But the markets did not fall due to this news. So I firmly believe that we are in a middle of a bull run. I've been saying it for the last several months. I have already built a lot of my positions. So I feel that if you watch this video very closely, make notes, understand the nuances of the finance sector and invest, of course, then you are likely to make good amount of money. And your probability of making more returns will go up if you press the like button. I'm kidding, but yes, please definitely press the like button so that these type of videos reach out to more people. So this is the first data point. The second data point is that whenever a bull run happens, the finance stocks outperform the market. So let me show you by talking about the two biggest recent falls. So the first fall was the 2020 COVID fall. And if you look at the market bottom and market top here, you will see that Nifty 50, we are looking at Nifty 50 data here, overall market. So the markets gave how much return? Almost 160% return. What about Bank Nifty? Because Bank Nifty is a proxy for financial sector. So if we do the same analysis, you will see that Bank Nifty has given almost 190%. So it has outperformed the market. What about the second major biggest fall that has happened in recent history? That is the 2009 fall. So let me show you Nifty Bank first. So again, take a look from the bottom to top. So you will see that Nifty Bank gave 297% return. What about Nifty? This is 2009. So again, same data point, it gave 180% return. So the point that I'm trying to communicate is that if you believe that we are in a bull run and if you divert a significant portion of your portfolio to finance stocks, there is a good chance that you will outperform the market. That is the same strategy I'm also using. I am currently at 60% financials, but I might go a little bit higher from this point. So this is definitely a sector on which I'm extremely bullish. Another sector that I'm extremely bullish and I encourage people to learn more about is the artificial intelligence or the AI sector, which brings us to the partners of today's video, which is Growth School. Growth School runs a 3-hour paid workshop on mastering ChatGPT and generative AI. Now, this is conducted by the founder of Growth School, Vaibhav Sesanti, who is a friend of mine. I have personally attended this workshop, found it to be really nice, and I would encourage all of you to attend it. So I've requested Vaibhav to rerun this workshop, and the first 1,000 people who will sign up by using the links in the description and comment box can attend this workshop absolutely free of cost. Yes, you heard it right. This is going to be 100% free. Now, on this workshop, you will learn some amazing ChatGPT prompts and AI tricks that only top 1% people know. Now, these strategies can help you get better at your job and become irreplaceable in the job market. Now, whether you are a professional creator, whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you are someone in a job, learning these tools and techniques can help you get better at your job. It could allow you to make more money. It can further help you progress in your career. Growth School helps people become top 1% in their field in 3 to 6 months by giving real and practical skills. And in the past, they have taught roughly 500,000 students. They are the first brand to teach the latest technologies like no-code, Web3, and now AI and ChatGPT. They have been backed by Sequoia Capital and founders like Mr. Kunal Shah. And Growth School is doing a phenomenal job in terms of imparting education. So do go and check out this workshop. And again, this workshop will be for free for first 1,000 students. So find the links in the description and comment box. Now with that said, let's move on to the main video. So the first stock that I will speak about is Bajaj Finance. Now Bajaj Finance is the largest NBFC or non-banking finance company in India right now. What type of work it does? It gives consumer loans. Now consumer loans means that if you have to buy fridge, TV, AC, इस तरीके की चीजें, and you're looking for that zero cost EMI or low cost EMI option, then you get financed by a financier like Bajaj Finance. So as the consumer durable market grows, as people's aspiration grows, as the entire consumer sector grows per se, companies like Bajaj Finance are going to do really well. In fact, Bajaj Finance recently announced its results and they beat even the market's expectation and analyst expectation. The results were so good. So let me first and foremost take you through some fundamental points about Bajaj Finance, because I don't want to harp too much about the fundamentals of the stock. It's a solid company. All of us know that. I would talk about the recent entry of Jio Financials and what impact it is likely to have on Bajaj Finance. So let me show some numbers first. And if we take a look at the quarter-wise result, so this is the June quarter 2023. So if you compare it to last June, there has been good growth, right? So almost like 25-30% growth here. If you compare it to the previous June, again like 25-30% growth there, so on and so forth, right? So to cut the long story short, this is a stock that easily CAGRs or compounds at 15-20%. It has been doing that for a substantial period of time. So now comes the natural question कि यार Bajaj Finance is now already a very big player. For example, if you check the market cap of Bajaj Finance, you will see that it is like 450,000 crore company, right? इतनी बड़ी company है. So how will it become big from this point? So there are certain data points that you should know. First and foremost point is that the loan market in India, जो अपन generally loan लेते हैं, that is growing at 10-11% के आसपास. But the consumer finance market in India is growing in excess of 20%. And Bajaj Finance is already a leading player in that space. So even if Bajaj Finance grows at a roughly 20% CAGR from this point, there is a good chance that the stock itself will compound at 20% CAGR. So if you're looking to make like 20%, then Bajaj Finance is a very good stock. Now comes a natural response. Here I read about the fact that Jio Financials is coming into the picture. It has tied up with BlackRock. BlackRock is the biggest asset management company in the world. So ho gaya beda garg, right? AMC companies are going to go down. Consumer finance companies are going to go down. And all the companies are going to get evaporated because Jio Financials is coming into the picture. So let me very quickly speak about some facts there. So here you need to understand three critical points about Jio Financials. So the first key point is that so far, looking at all the news that is coming in, it appears that Jio Financials is going to focus on two critical businesses. One is called as asset management companies. For example, you have companies like HDFC AMC, Naam India. So what do? They are AMC business. कि भाई आप mutual fund वगैरह में invest करते हो. So you do your SIP. The fund manager collects money from you and on behalf of you, they end up buying assets, right? So that is an AMC business. So Jio Financials has partnered here with BlackRock in order to compete in this AMC business. So this is part one. Second part, or the second work area that Jio Financials is focusing on, is the consumer loans. Now here one could argue that it will go up against the likes of Bajaj Finance, right? So this is one, and then there are 100 different types of consumer finance companies. For example, you have Mahindra and Mahindra Financials. Now the type of company Mahindra and Mahindra Financials is, it is very, very different from Bajaj Finance. And I will show that to you in a minute. How? But the point that I want to drive home is that, see, broad category of business for Jio Financials will be AMC consumer loans. Both these sectors are growing, because अगर ये sectors grow नहीं कर रहे होते, then why is it that Jio Financials will try to capture this space, right? So this is a very important point. It kind of validates the growth rate of this industry to begin with. So this is first critical point. The second critical point that you need to understand is the fact that why is it that Jio typically wins. Now, this is a very interesting conversation, and I had done a video on Reliance's business model and Adani's business model. You will understand a lot of critical points about their business philosophy. But see, here is where I'm summarizing it, that if you consider the case study of telecom, right, that why is it that the Jio telecom grew so fast that it just literally crushed like all other players? Why was that the case? Because telecom is a space that requires massive amount of capital to begin with. Mostly there are like loss-making players. खुद ही नहीं सर्वाइव कर पा रहे. So Jio came in, it kind of, raised easy money and it kind of crushed competition there. So that is monopoly building, which is protected through what? Which is protected through capital, right? So that is the First critical point that you need to understand about Jio. Same thing is happening with streaming, that it requires a lot of fixed capital. So again, Jio seems to be winning the race there. That first what they do is that okay, free, सब कुछ free में देख लो, IPL free में, right, and telephone free में, use it, this, right, and then they will kill competition. Once the competition goes away, they will keep on jacking up the price. Now that is the model that they have followed on what? Telecom. That is the model that they are following on Jio Cinema as of now. But is this a model that would work in something like AMC business? The short answer is no, this will not work. Why? Because if you actually think about the fact कि AMC business जो है, जैसे HDFC AMC, right? HDFC AMC or Naam India. Now what is happening here, right? They have already cut their cost quite a bit. There is hardly any room left to cut cost. You can clearly understand it through your own investing style that previously when HDFC AMC used to be there, Naam India used to be there, they used to charge a lot of commissions on managing this AUM or asset under management. That for example, agar 1000 crore ka 1000 crore fund was there with HDFC AMC, maybe they used to charge 1.5% commission. But SEBI has been very active. They have done a wonderful job in terms of lowering the commissions to begin with. So the commissions are already lowered in this space. So अब आपका natural question आएगा कि भाई फिर why is it that Jio Financials is coming into this space? Why are they targeting it? Well, because in India right now, the participation in the stock market is roughly 3%. Now, as the discretionary income grows, it can go up to 10%, 12% in the next few years. Market size तो आपका 4x हो जाएगा at 12%. In the US, almost 50-60% of their population invest in some form of stock market, mutual fund market, this, that. So in India, as the income levels grow, the expectation is that AMC business is going to become highly productive from that perspective, that industry expansion will happen in AMC industry, commissions will come down. So this cost cutting game, this free wala game is not going to work on AMC business. Yes, of course, Jio Financials can come in, they can claim their stake of the pie, all that can happen. But it's not as if that they will kill HDFC, AMC, Naam India, all that stuff. According to me, the next two stocks that are good are HDFC AMC and Naam India. Both are good. Both are going to do well subsequently in the future. As the AMC industry expands, all these players are going to benefit. Now, if you don't trust, take a look at the chart for HDFC AMC. Last 4-5 महीने की study आप कर लो. Look at the rate at which the stock price has increased. Hardly any major impact has happened on HDFC AMC stock because of Jio Financial entry. Now, contextualizing this conversation back to Bajaj Finance around consumer loans. Now see, consumer loans is a slightly more complicated industry. Here, you need to understand a basic fact as to what has made Bajaj Finance successful. Now for that, you need to understand 3 critical points. Now, many things has made Bajaj Finance a multi-bagger stock, but if we break it down to simple structures, there are 3 critical points you need to know. One is that see, any NBFC needs to have access to capital or access to money at a decent borrowing rate, because NBFC companies which are there, they first need to get money at a decent rate so that they can further loan it out and make money in the middle. Is Bajaj Finance able to do that? Yes. Why? Because it has a fairly high credit rating. It's a stable corporation, so to say. So access to capital mein, there is no issue with Bajaj Finance. Second is that are they able to lend out that capital? Are they able to find customers? Now, what does this depend on? This depends on their existing distribution network. Now, for this, you need to study the history of Bajaj Finance. Now, Bajaj Finance or Bajaj Finserv more specifically was demerged from Bajaj Auto. Now, till date, most of the auto financing that is done happens where? It happens through Bajaj Finance in a way because it has a very strong existing distribution network within the auto segment, right? Why? Because of Bajaj Auto. So this is an important point. This network is not going away. Recently, they have partnered with banks in forms of running their own credit cards. Going forward, there is something called as co-lending that is going to get built up in the Indian market. Co-lending means कि दो parties मिलके loan देती हैं. For example, BNPL cards. Now what do? They are a fintech. They partner with bank. So in a way, they are co-lending, right? So this type of co-lending structure is becoming more prominent, and Bajaj Finance is going to leverage this and is going to grow further from this point. So this is a very important point. And third, what has really made Bajaj Finance stand out is its ability to manage risk. अब देखो, मुझे नहीं पता कि how exactly risk is managed at an NBFC. Neither do I have that understanding that I'll be able to teach you कि अच्छा exactly these companies are doing like these 5 techniques to manage risk, therefore it is a great company. No, but I can look at data and I can try to do prognosis whether this company is performing well on this number or not. Very easy to do that go on this balance sheet and you yourself will be able to decipher that point. So this was like June of 2020. COVID would have just started. So the impact of COVID was not that high up until this point, at least. So at that point in time, gross NPA was 1.4% and net NPA was 0.5%. Look at it now. It has almost halved, right? So pre-COVID की situation से भी they have improved their processes, structures, managed their risk really well to bring this number further down. So what it typically means is that, see, they are deliberately finding customers that pay them back. Now, this is a data aggregation game in the relevant sector. Please notice the final point that Bajaj Finance is a specialty player in the way that they are mostly doing consumer lending. They are not into AMC and all that stuff. That is the single battle that they need to fight. What will happen with Jio Financials? Well, there are a lot of battles that Jio Financials need to fight. AMC mein, they will have to go and win business. Consumer finance mein, they will have to go and win business. If they are expanding their gambit of type of consumer financing they need to do, again, they will have to fight highly specialized players. So that is the problem that I see with the Jio Financials. So that is not on my radar as of now. I would rather bet with something like Bajaj Finance. Now you might be of the point कि यार Bajaj Finance के तो पीछे पड़ जाएंगे Jio Financials वाले. So any other stock that I can look at which does something around consumer finance but might not compete head on with Jio Financials. So yes, that is a company called as M&M or Mahindra and Mahindra Financials. Let me very quickly talk about it. And also very important note that many of you would watch half the video. You will just simply say कि यार अच्छा ये stocks के नाम हो गए. I'm going to go and buy tomorrow. Please don't do that. There is a point at which you should buy. On today's video, I am just talking about good stocks. It does not mean that tomorrow is a good time to buy these stocks. I speak about how you can find whether stocks are undervalued, overvalued, fundamentals around it on my member community. In fact, this week I'm doing a class also on this particular Sunday where I will speak about different growth industries and good buying and selling opportunities within that space. So in case you want to check out that class, do check out the links in the description and comment box. So back to M&M Financials. So what M&M Financial does is that it is present across two major verticals. One is commercial vehicles, right? So for example, when it comes to Bajaj Finance, two-wheelers, three-wheeler market ho gaya, that is not commercial per se. But on the flip side, if you're buying trucks, tractors, all that, that is the type of financing that M&M does. Now, right now, Jio Financials is focusing where? At least by reading the news, I got a sense that they are focusing more against Bajaj Finance, mainstream consumer financing, rather than going after the commercial segments as of now. So M&M Financials is somewhat saved. They are not going to compete head on for business with Jio Financials. Of course, going forward, Jio Financials can expand. No one is stopping them. But if you want a different player, then M&M Financials could become one viable candidate. So let me first and foremost share its loan book with you, so you will get a better sense. So you can see that this is the loan book of M&M Financials, and what you would notice is that they are giving personal loans mostly, very few corporate loans. Vehicles ka is almost half the business, and housing loans is almost half the business. So they are mostly present in what categories? One is commercial vehicles ke loans and second are housing loans. Now this is overall a solid company. It has consistently generated profits, sitting on its highest ever profits, highest ever sales. Even the profitability, you can check it from EPS, even that is growing. Its operating profit margins are growing. So net, it's a solid company. Now, is this a right time to buy it? It really depends on your portfolio. Again, I will give a lot of condensed information on my community post around all these stocks. So I will hold special discussions on these stocks. So whatever stocks I am talking about, you can ask me questions around it on the community section and I will try to respond to at least 30-40 such questions. So okay, so M&M Financials is an option that I have suggested. Now let me move to category 2 type of stocks, which are fairly easy for all of us to understand. So these are private commercial banks in India. So here I am speaking about stocks like HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank. So these three stocks I already have on my portfolio, and all these three stocks, and let's include Axis also. So I have all four. So all these four stocks are really good. There is nothing wrong with these stocks. Now, why am I saying it? And is there like any major difference between these four stocks that I'm speaking about? Short answer is no, there is no major difference between these four stocks. ऐसा होना बहुत मुश्किल है that HDFC grows or the HDFC stock price grows at 20% CAGR and ICICI grows only at 10% CAGR. Yes, 19-20 difference could be there, that one grows at like 15%, another grows at 18%, something like this. But it's not as if that one bank strategy is like extremely different from the other banks, and somehow they have figured out like some new system that is just going to be a game changer for them. And if HDFC implements technology X, then Axis will be unable to do it. So here are 3-4 critical points that you need to know about these banks. So see, here are a few critical points. That number one, for India to grow or the Indian economy to grow, banks have to grow. It's as simple as that. It cannot happen that the Indian economy is growing at like 5%, but banks are only growing at 3%. In fact, what is likely to happen is that if the Indian economy's real growth rate is 5%, then banks ka growth rate will have to be, or real growth rate of banks will have to be roughly like 7-8% easily, because these are slightly higher beta stocks. They have more volatility. So in a growing economy, banks have to grow faster than the economy, so to say, because there will be some sectors that will grow slower than the average economy. So to balance it out, finance sector, which is considered to be more volatile sector, it typically grows faster, and banks are a proxy. The second critical point is that, see, when it comes to private banks, the default rate is low. Now you will start telling me that, yeah, you know, Akshat, that Chanda Kochar scam was there. So how is the default rate low? Well, check these statistics. Default rates for something like HDFC, ICICI, Axis, Kotak is low. Why is that the case? Because they typically do not give out very big loans to one single corporate. Now, which corporates, you guys can guess in the comment box. But what I'm trying to tell you is that, see, कई बार होता क्या है कि when it comes to PSU banks, then they have exposure to one single big corporate, right? For example, they might give like 4,000, 5,000 crore ka loan. Now, if that one single corporate defaults, then this entire 4,000 becomes an NPA, right? And which will hit their books. So therefore, PSUs have like a very bad sort of a credit risk management system. Why is that the case? Completely entire discussion. But this problem is not prevalent across private banks in India. So therefore, if the economy, if you're betting on the fact that economy is going to grow at 5%, then these banks that I just spoke about, HDFC, Axis, ICICI, all these banks, they are likely to grow at 7-8%. Now, final point is, yaar, 7-8%, this is like the real growth rate I'm speaking about. Nominal terms, it might come out to be even like 14%, because inflation is around 5-6%. So that is a 14-15% CAGR, which is likely to happen with something like HDFC Bank, Kotak Bank, all that stuff, right? Now, you might say, yaar, 15% only, maza nahi aaya, right? Tell me some stock that can 2x from this point, right? So, okay, so if you want to do that, then you have to take slightly more risk with your money, right? अब ये नहीं हो सकता कि, you know what, I don't want to take any risk with my money also, and I want to 2x my money also. That strategy is not possible. Now, if you're looking for opportunities which can 2x from this point, then you have to pick smaller banks. For example, earlier I spoke about IDFC First Bank, right? Now, this is one of my top bets. I'm already sitting on more than 100% profit on this bank, right? I had purchased it earlier. So you have to figure out banks like these. Now, again, I will have these type of dangerous discussions on the member community section, because that part of the community is made up of serious learners. So you guys will understand the risk. Now, if I openly speak about these high risk options, you guys will make me liable that तुम्हारी responsibility है कल से that the stock should run up. Now, guys, that is not possible. So see, you have to pick something like IDFC First Bank. Can IDFC First Bank literally double right from this point? So the short answer is yes, it can definitely double from this point. Now, this is again not a recommendation that you go and sell your house and invest all your money from tomorrow itself. But as of now, if I show you the numbers, you will see that IDFC First Bank has a market cap of 55,000 crore. Now, what is the market cap of HDFC Bank? Well, it is 20 times of this, right? So what I'm simply betting on IDFC First Bank is very simple. So can it go to 100,000 crore going forward in the future? Looks to me like a yes. Therefore, I am still sticking to my position on IDFC First Bank. I have literally booked a little bit of profits just to prevent my downside. And that's it. So that's what I'm doing with IDFC First Bank. My target on IDFC First Bank is fairly simple, that I will continue to hold it at least till the point the market cap goes to 100,000 crores. Why it can go? Bunch of different reasons. I have already spoken on my previous videos that excellent leadership management, NPA problem ऐसी कोई खास नहीं है. It is growing well. They are managing their books really well. So all those points work in favor of the bank. And Mr. Vaidyanathan, who has helped ICICI Bank grow to a significant level, is running the show at IDFC First Bank. So since he has done that previously, that he has grown a private bank to new highs in India, why can't he do the same for IDFC First Bank also? So therefore, I'm betting on it, and I do feel that it is a 2x bet compared to some of the other stocks. Now you'll say, "Acha, chalo, this is just like one number. What about like some other banks which can grow to 2x?" So see, guys, you'll have to take some risk, and you will have to go into small finance bank category. Now, small finance banks, you need to understand what purpose do they solve. So the small finance bank story started in India roughly 1.5 decades back. And there are 2-3 critical points that you need to know. First and foremost point is that when it comes to small finance bank, you need to ask yourself the question that what purpose do small finance banks solve? Okay, so that's a good question, because see, think about it in this way, that HDFC Bank might not want to open its branches in every tier 2, tier 3 city, villages, all those areas, because there might be a customer segment that HDFC, Kotak Bank, ICICI want to cater to. So that part of the equation, some villages, etc., will be left to fend for themselves. How will they get banking? So the RBI came up with a rule that, hey, that we are going to give banking licenses to certain players in the market, but our request is that you guys do 75% of the lending in priority sector lending area. So as a result, a lot of new age banks got created, and here is an entire list. You will see that Ujjivan Small Finance is there, Equitas is there, and all these different players are there. Are they competing head on with these private banks? The short answer is no. They are not competing against these private banks. Number 2, what is the role of the small finance bank? Well, it is to serve the underserved population of the country. Third, and more importantly, where will the growth in these small finance bank come, and should you bet on these? My short answer is yes, you should bet on the small finance bank. Why is that the case? Now see, again, I'm telling you that this is a risky strategy. You don't need to blindly follow it. Please hedge your portfolio accordingly. But I will complete the thought process here. So first and foremost point is that the market cap of the small finance bank is very small to begin with. For example, if you consider Equitas Small Finance Bank, its market cap is only 11,000 crore, right? Even IDFC First has a market cap of 55,000 crore. So here, if you are taking a bet that, okay, this will go to 22,000 crore, then stock price should also double from this point, right? So this is literally point number 1. Point 2 is that why will something like Equitas Small Finance or Ujjivan Small Finance grow? Well, it will grow simply because of the fact that the rural growth rate or the tier 2, tier 3 growth rate is growing at a faster rate. Now we keep on talking about the fact that India mein discretionary income badhegi. So where will that discretionary income come from, and who will benefit the most? That if someone in a village is earning 5,000, okay, and then the income levels go to 6,000. Now what is the jump in salary? Then the jump in salary is what percentage? Here the percentage would be almost 20%, right? Compared to if you are at 25,000 and it goes to 28,000, तब आपकी salary increase इतनी हुई? The answer is no. So the point I'm trying to tell you is that even if there is a small increment, because in a village we are starting from a very small base, the growth rate, even if it is average, the point is that the discretionary income growth here will be higher. And as they get access to more banking services, that they are able to take out loans to run their or create their small businesses, as the culture of entrepreneurship take up, then the small finance bank industry is going to grow at a rocket pace, right? So that is my theory around it. The risk on small finance bank is fairly simple. Let's see, the income inequality in India is growing at an unprecedented pace. So yes, India might grow, become like a $5 trillion economy, $40 trillion economy, this, that. But will it trickle down in absolute proportional terms? No, 100% not. It will not trickle down, that if person at the top makes 100 additional rupee, then person at the bottom is not going to make a proportionate amount. But yes, if the overall wealth of the country grows, then something like small finance banks are going to do substantially well. Now, I already have 3 or 4 small finance banks on my portfolio. I have Equitas, I have Ujjivan Small Finance, I have Bandhan Bank, and I'm also analyzing Utkarsh Small Finance Bank. So I might build more positions there. And again, I will make the announcements in the member community section. But to cut the long story short, I'm a big believer in the small finance bank story, and these stocks could definitely double from this point. Now, unfortunately, I've run out of time on this video, so I will try to make part 2 for my Hindi channel on this, where I will speak dedicatedly about AMC stocks, public sector bank stocks, housing loans finance companies. So I will try to make another video and give you more commentary there. But I hope that this part of the conversation was clear to you. In case you want to figure out what my favorite stocks across different industries are, please go and take a look at this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon.